As parks are beginning to reopen after the coronavirus, a few have changed the way that height is measured, with a few opting to allow family members to measure their own child's height rather than a trained ride operator. Accordingly, it's now more important than ever for the public to understand height requirements and why they're in place. In most cases, height requirements are set by the ride's manufacturer and are normally based on the smallest body size the ride's restraints can safely restrain. This means that trying to sneak a child onto a ride that is under that ride's height requirement could result in that child being ejected from the ride due to the ride's restraints not being able to hold them into the ride. This is especially possible if the ride experiences an unusual situation. On some older 48-inch rides like Gemini and Magnum at Cedar Point, trains can sometimes stack. When this occurs, they will stop very suddenly in the brakes. In this situation, riders who are too short can be thrown from the ride's restraints. This is the reason that many seemingly tame rides have very strict height requirements. Vekoma, in their manual for the Boomerang model of roller coaster that is installed at many parks across the globe, states that passengers should be at least 1.20 meters in height to prevent the danger of sliding out of the shoulder restraint. This is roughly 47.2 inches. But many US parks have their boomerangs listed as 48-inch or taller attractions. This is where we get into height requirements set by parks. In the case of the Boomerang, the 48-inch rides are at this height simply because it's much easier to tell guests and enforce a height of 48 inches instead of 47.2 inches. But sometimes parks may change height requirements from what the manufacturer recommends due to them feeling that due to the way the ride is operated, it's not safe for younger or smaller guests. Six Flags Darien Lake, for example, has a Vekoma Boomerang that requires riders to be 54 inches tall to ride alone, but allows 48-inch tall riders to ride as long as they ride with an adult. This is because their primary concern is that a 48-inch tall rider can squeeze through the restraint and try to exit the ride while it is in motion. Another example is RMC's hybrid coasters, which can accommodate a 48-inch tall rider, but rides like Steel Vengeance at Cedar Point have a height requirement of 52 inches. This was due to park officials riding Steel Vengeance and feeling that due to the high amount of negative G's the ride pulled combined with the long ride experience, the ride was not suitable for riders under 52 inches. Some rides also have a maximum height requirement. This is often around 78 inches and is normally in place so that taller riders do not hit their feet on something during the ride. Back to minimum height requirements. Tricks like stuffing a kid's shoes or giving them extra long hair is the oldest trick in the book, and ride operators are trained on how to notice this. For example, height is always measured off the top of the head, not hair. And if ride operators suspect that a child is wearing height-enhancing shoes, they can ask for the child to remove them so they can get a more accurate measurement of their height. At the end of the day, these height requirements are in place to keep children safe. Trying to bypass them puts children at risk of serious injury or death. If you're planning on going to a park and have kids under the highest minimum height requirement for the rides there, I would recommend you measure your child's height without shoes at home. Then look online at what rides they can safely ride and make a plan to ride them. Alternatively, when you arrive at the park, you can see if they have a height wristband system. This works by having a park employee measure your child's height and then giving them a corresponding wristband. Please note that the key to any good safety system is having redundancy, so please do not be upset if a ride operator still measures a child with a wristband. I hope this video has helped you gain some insight into why height requirements exist. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. As always, thanks for watching.